Joyous time zones, my Sakonauts. I'm Sako Tumi, also known as the Witch of Tylwyth Teg, and today we are discussing Trance in Condensed Chaos by Phil Hine. Right out of the gate, I wanted to say hi to Christina, my beloved Christina, and my beloved Bonnie. I'm so glad to see you this morning. I'm trying to figure out where to put my laptop. That is best without it overheating. I don't know. How's that? I'm surrounded by cords and book things. Hello, Kat. I'm glad you could make it with your mystic ends. See, I have a similar thing. Mystic end. Though it's stronger on my right hand. Hello, 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 hello. So great. I think I'm going to skip the grounding ritual today. I'm going to skip the grounding ritual today. Trying my best, but not even close today. Oh. All right. Ah! Okay. I would say that's adequately shuffled. The Wheel of Fortune reversed. May is a long way away. What's happening in May, darling? Forces that are outside of your control are taking over your life at this time. You are experiencing a string of bad luck, and it can feel like you're never going to get a break. Misfortune and overwhelm can be discouraging, especially when you use that as evidence against yourself and your self-worth. Now is not the time to be taking risks. Proceed with caution and lay low until the storm is over. Losing control can be scary, but practice seeing if these situations are here to teach you rather than take from you. Life is full of ups and downs, including the tough moments. Challenges create character, and it is up to you to choose to take away. It is up to you what you choose to take away from it. Going against the current is depleting your energy. Resisting change is futile. Instead, go with the flow. Oh, there was sound things doing weird things. Bailey is making shaving cream sculptures, so I may be a bit distracted today. Ah ha ha! That's going to be a fun time. So wait out the storm. And if things seem awesome right now, it's the eye of the storm. So bunker down. Bunker down. Coffee time. It might be too hot to drink. Almost too hot. Okay, let's talk about trance. Hi, Allie. It's lovely to see you, darling. I hope that doesn't mean our spring weather. No, that doesn't mean your spring weather. Trance and perception. We shift in and out of different shades of perception continuously throughout the day. Daydreaming, fantasy, concentrating on a difficult task, listening to music, becoming absorbed in a situation so that the background noises disappear. When we talk of entering trance, we are referring to a deliberate or intentional act of altering perception according to specific parameters. In modern Western society, we tend to have very fixed ideas about what constitutes a trance state. We tend to think of someone who is passive, eyes closed and limp, or oblivious to their surroundings. We tend to think of hypnotized people. The word hypnosis derives from hypnos, the Greek god of sleep, as quiescent and awaiting instructions. The term trance is often understood as a state of profound absorption which fills one's awareness completely. The ability to enter and prolong such states at will is another prime requisite for magical living. There are many routes into trance, most of which can be classified as excitatory or inhibitory. No, that's the word he uses. Techniques. It's a weird word. Excitatory techniques such as hyperventilation, dancing, chanting, drumming, or any other strong stimulation when prolonged have distinct physiological effects and enable the magician to attain an ecstatic peak wherein awareness of anything other what is held in the mind as a projection of will collapses. It is at such moments that spells may be cast, the persona of a god may take shape and voice, or beliefs embedded in the deep unconscious mind. Inhibitory techniques serve to silence the internal dialogue, confuse linear time sense, and disturb the boundaries of the ego sense through sensory deprivation, sleeplessness, fasting, or slow rhythmic breathing. All these techniques have distinct physiological effects and demonstrate that physical awareness is a prime necessity for magic. All these techniques have distinct physiological effects and demonstrate the physical awareness is prime necessity for magic. A problem that we acquire from our culture is that we tend to be very head-oriented in our experience, caught up with the continual commentary of the inner dialogue and the words and images of the hyper-real. Our sense of being, I'm being called out there, our sense of being a stable personality is maintained by transactions, both real and imaginary, with others. Move somewhere isolated and the self becomes more malleable. Another classical magical gambit for entering trance states. The personality we acquire sets the limits on what we can and cannot do. Hello, Spence. Yay. Glad you could make it, darling. Where did I leave off? Often, by entering trance states, whether intentionally or not, we can perform feats or tasks that are normally outside our normal repertoire. If the self-referential awareness is frozen by shock or distracted, the body seems to take over, moving us out of the way of danger. We like to think of ourselves as being in control of our bodies. This is in itself a problem, as letting go and becoming disinhibited, especially in a group setting, is very difficult for some of us. Letting it all hang out is generally frowned upon, especially in England. Other cultures, however, disinhibition, yes, is, he uses inhibition in a way that I'm not, he uses suffixes and prefixes that I just don't understand. Is sanctioned and is the mark of a successful event. Every day, air server is crashing, but air server isn't open. I gotta see if there's some way that I can turn this off. Also, Zoom is open. I'm not gonna need that until 7:30 tonight. I'm saying culture in England is very like buttoned up. So letting it all hang out in a group setting is like kind of frowned upon. Now I'm making assumptions. So if I am very wrong about the cultural buttoned upness of England, then please school me. But let's see, where was I? In other cultures, however, disinhibition is sanctioned and is the mark of a successful event. Here's Lucian's description of a priestess of Delphi entering trance. She went blundering frantically about the shrine, with the god mounted on the nape of her neck, knocking her over the tripods that stood in her path. The hair rose on her scalp, and when she tossed her head, the wreaths went flying over the bare floor. Her mouth foamed frenziedly. She groaned, gasped, uttered weird sounds, and made the huge cave re-echo with her dismal shrieks. In the end, Apollo forced her to intelligible speech. Entering trance is not always a pleasant experience, particularly trance states involving possession. The feeling that something else is using your limbs and your voice is not your own is very odd. The natural tendency, especially for Westerners, is to resist the experience, even when the incoming spirit is a beneficial one. Often, people who are possessed have no memory or awareness of what happened to them. Magicians have, over the ages, resorted to drugs, physical exertion, or prolonged ritual to temporarily blot out the personality, making possession easier. So why enter trance states? Here are some good reasons. Number one, knowledge, i.e., that which cannot be gained in other ways. This ranges from asking Auntie Frida what it's like on the other side to asking a specific question about herbs to a particular healing spirit. This can sometimes involve journeying to particular parts of the inner worlds to consult with a particular entity. Number 2, enhancement of abilities. Possession by a war god enhances martial prowess or a temporary authority over other spirits. For example, I had a client who had a recurring throat problem. I examined her in a light vision trance and saw a toad-like creature that had swelled itself up and lodged in her throat. The dancing plague of 1518 was a massive trance state. That's an interesting thought. I did something to my neck in my sleep yesterday. So I'm still working out the kinks and tightness and knots and stuff. My flexibility still isn't great. Lodged in her throat. No way was it going to come out willingly. My allies advised me, again in trance, that the only entity the spirit would take notice of was an even bigger toad. So we performed a healing ceremony during which I became possessed by a toad spirit in order to interact with the one in my client's throat. I think trance is useful, takes time to understand the effects. It takes maturity to use. Absolutely. It can also bring about maturity. Communal ecstasy. And I think this is the dancing plague of 1518 that Spence was talking about. The magician provides a very important task for a tribe or community, mediating between the everyday world and the larger-than-life world of myth and communal lore. The magician becomes or allows others to become involved in a sacred mythic participation as the guide, navigating the secret paths, just making sure that's the right page, of the community's cosmology. This brings up one of the biggest stumbling blocks to assuming magical roles in our culture. The Western society has an extremely complex pool of mythic images to draw upon. This is not to belittle the magical inner worlds. For example, a Tamang shaman of Tibet participates in a mythic world shared by other members of the community. Its history, myth, and accumulated stories actualized and intensified by years of training, visions, and rites. Contrast this with the mythic world available to someone in modern Britain, an island that has been for centuries a melting pot of many different cultures, with the electronic arms of the Videodrome bringing in information from all over the planet, across both distance and time. It is possible for someone to have a good academic grasp of Tamang shamanistic beliefs, not to mention SF, fantasy, SF, science fiction maybe? Fantasy, mythology, upbringing, and the myriad of ways of expressing spiritual endeavors. It's so nice out. I'm on my balcony. That's wonderful, Allie. It's all rainy and chilly here. The myriad ways of expressing spiritual endeavors. Okay. Also, modern society has tended to hand over the realm of the mythic to professionals, therapists, entertainers, philosophers, and we are, to a large extent, cut off from the participation in the mythic world, except, for the most part, sanctioned and sanitized escape routes, which support consensus reality even as they provide the illusion that they challenge it. A little chilly, I might need a third layer or a sweater. Yeah, right on. All this leads to a pretty complicated mythic life. Fortunately, some mythic images and processes, such as the underworld journey, are fairly universal. Others, however, become lost as people forget or garble the roots in experiencing or understanding them. We rely so much on secondhand daylight, reading and watching other people's experiences, and the oral transmission of knowledge is comparatively rare. The first witch coven I was involved with set a good standard. Whenever the priestess wanted to impart the feel of magic, we would go out into the open, a park, a moonlit street, or the seashore. Direct physical experience, especially when accompanied by a guide who isn't into fucking you over, is better than sitting indoors reading a book any day. Anyhow, I digress. Number 4, connectivity. This is concerned with making connections, finding links between different ideas and subjects, making a creative leap that brings on a flood of new ideas and enthusiasm. I often enter a trance state to overcome writer's block, letting fragments of conversation, poetry, or images slip across my inner eye. Something will well up from the inside, and ideas and connections leap up like iron filings into a magnet. Number 5, demonstration of ability. In our culture, you may be able to get away with impressing people as a magician because you've plowed through the complete works of Aleister Crowley, which is no mean feat, by the way. Apprentice magicians, however, are sometimes required to enter trance states as a demonstration of their prowess. It is quite common for spirits to test you by placing you under extreme psychic pressure so that the experience becomes a compressed version of the underworld initiation. That's something I haven't done yet. I have a book on it, but I haven't actually done the underworld initiation. I just wanted to know more before I just dove in. See, where was I? Prowess. It is quite common for spirits to test you by placing you under extreme psychic pressure so that the experience becomes a compressed version of the underworld initiation. Some spirits, demons, and deities will do their best to drive you bananas, only yielding their wisdom when you have proved yourself equal to the task. The spirits of psychotropics are particularly prone to that kind of behavior. You can't become a magician in isolation from everyone else, although periods of deliberate isolation are necessary from time to time. Also, there aren't instructors in magic hanging about, and not unless you commit yourself to an endless round of weekend workshops. So you will have to learn from everyone and everything. It's important to learn to recognize the onset of changes in awareness and explore all possible routes into trance. Learn to trust your own senses and your intuition rather than the internal dialogue or what you think you ought to do. Again, these techniques serve to free awareness from the limitations or linear perception and solar time. Stare into a mirror, gazing at your reflection until the mirror darkens and you feel yourself sliding into the mirror. At first, this may seem agonizingly difficult due to the ego's requirement of knowing how much time has passed. The ego needs a sense of time passing to keep itself together as a fixed entity. On technique, any technique which serves to disturb linear awareness and the internal dialogue moves the magician into so-called liminal perception. Liminal perception is a borderline state of awareness. One route into this perceptual state is half-awake, half-dreaming condition that often results from physical exhaustion. I don't have to do that. I would like to. I can slip into trance pretty easy, but the easiest route for me is, and Skeed just put up a new thing. Skeed. Yep, that's you. Let me put it in the chat. So this wonderful YouTuber makes drones that unites your left brain and your right brain, and when both sides are active at the same time, that is gnosis. So I learned about hemosync from the gateway process, but I find similarities with Skeed and some of those drones that say, oh, it's 930 megahertz, whatever. But Skeed specifically, some are better than others. Some songs are better than others. I like the Lilith track because it uses stringed instruments to make the drone, like a cello and a violin, which is wonderful. It makes me feel really grounded while I'm doing inner world stuff, which is great. So I just wanted to recommend Skeed for if you can meditate for 5 minutes with no help, then go ahead and try Skeed for a few minutes. You don't have to do it for the full 2 hours or 3 hours or whatever that he yeah, you don't have to do. I set a 20-minute timer to do trance work because beyond that, I am out for weeks. So after 20 minutes, I pack in a lot of work in 20 minutes, me personally. So, because time is different in liminal space. And then I eat something yummy, I rehydrate, I take a 3-hour nap, I take care of myself coming right out of a trance state, coming out of gnosis. That is my experience. My favorite way to do this is I do it in the bath. I'll do a ritual bath with flowers or crystals or bath bomb, whatever, just to make the bath a little witchy. And then I'll make sure I have some water, an alcoholic drink. I don't want to be drunk when I do this. Let me say that again. You want to be sober when you do this stuff. okay? Because if you are under the influence of something, you may or may not say something or do something to offend an entity or a deity or a spirit or other people. So you want to be of sound mind, but trust your intuition, trust your perception of the imagery that comes to you when you are in trance, when you are in gnosis. It's just you also, while I'm coming down and I'm rehydrating and taking my alcoholic drink and stuff like that, because I wake up, I set a timer and everything like that, and then I wake up already in the bath, so I can like lounge in the bath and drink and watch something on my phone or whatever. I can enjoy my bath and take care of myself. All right. Let's see, where were we? Liminal perception is a borderline state of awareness. One route into this perceptual state is a half-awake, half-dreaming condition that often results from physical exhaustion. Images or sounds arise into awareness, seemingly from elsewhere, beyond the one's volition. A useful technique for becoming proficient at entering this state is scrying. The black mirror, or the crystal ball, or whatever. Fire scrying is very popular. Scrying is a basic divinatory technique which can be used for exploring liminal perception. It can be performed using any reflective surface, such as a mirror, preferably a shiny black surface, or a bowl filled with dark fluid. Scrying requires that you enter a light trance state where images arise in your mind, rather like daydream visions or the pictures that you see before falling asleep. The trick of scrying is to relax and let any images appear before you, gazing steadily into the medium that you are using without staring too hard or intensely concentrating. This only comes with practice. At first, it should be enough to let random images well up, and later on to try to answer specific questions. The area in which you are practicing should be dimly lit, and the lights, candles are excellent, placed so that they do not reflect in the medium you are using. Incense can also be useful aid, particularly those resins and oils which act as relaxants. You may find it useful to perform a meditation or relaxation exercise prior to attempting to scry. Divinatory techniques such as these help develop the intuitive and psychic faculties. And the trick of relaxing and letting images arise in your mind is also a key to other talents such as psychometry and aura reading. Once you have tried the basic method, regular practice will help you develop it. Mirror and crystal gazing is a strong magical tradition in shamanistic cultures from the Americas to Africa, medieval Europe, and ancient Greece. Not only have mirrors and crystals been used to divine the future, but also to communicate with ancestral spirits. Occasionally, people experience scenes or entities leaving Occasionally, people experience scenes or entities leaving the reflective surface and merging with the surrounding environment. I might actually invest in a black mirror. I'm gonna look one up. Maybe I can find one on Amazon. Black mirror. Not on Prime Video. No, it's just giving me normal mirrors with black frames. Oh, that's kind of cool. 5-piece Scandinavian natural decor acrylic wall decorative mirror interior design wooden moon phase mirror bohemian wall decoration ... All right, let me see what's up here. Black mirror handheld. Ooh, vintage handheld mirror. It's not black, but it's very cool. Two mirrors. They got like magnification and light and stuff. Obsidian disc, maybe? Obsidian mirror scrying. Oh, perfect. That's what I needed. $60. There's a fortune-telling toy scrying mirror of smooth black obsidian. Commune with your intuition, 5 inches for $40. There's one for $35, $25. They get smaller and smaller. 5.5 is the biggest that I've seen. Oh, centimeters. Not inches. That is kind of the size I'm looking for, though. Yeah, that's perfect. I'm gonna put it in the chat. There's a store that I go to that sells them. I don't know when I'll get there, though. Yeah, I know what you mean. So I think I'm gonna buy this. And the goal is basically what we just read, right? Where I put on some skeed. I unite my left brain and my right brain, and it puts me in this trance. Now the trance, I'm relaxed, I'm attentive, I'm confident, I'm of sound mind, I'm not drunk or high or anything like that. Make sure you're of sound mind when you do this. And then I stare into the black mirror until I get visions, and I see whatever visions come about. Now, I don't know if I can use it for divinatory stuff, but I can use it for becoming better as a person and as a magician. I think I'm gonna buy it. I can get it for 10. Is it Prime? No. That's the one I want. It says 5 back with an eligible Prime membership for the first 3 months. That is implying that my Prime isn't working anymore. Proceed to checkout. Free shipping. It would be here Tuesday on March 16th. Which I can wait. Place order. Thank you. Your order has been placed. Hooray! I'll be getting a little black mirror that I can scry with. Hello, Debbie. I've got 20 minutes left of the stream, but I'm so glad you could make it before I was wrapping up. We're talking about the trance state today. Now we're going to get into dynamic dreaming. Exploring the possibilities of dream magic is a powerful and effective way of breaking away from linear consciousness and allowing magic into your life. Prospective magicians may even be identified by virtue of the content of their dreams, and it is not unusual for people to meet their guides in dreams. We tend to think of dreams as a very personal aspect of our experience, so it's sometimes disconcerting when someone that we know appears in our dreams. In dreams, historical time is abolished, and distance is no object. We may witness events from the past, future, or alternate presents. Dreams are a useful starting point for entering the inner worlds. It can be useful to induce prophetic dreams or meeting with spirits so that you can discuss a particular problem. A friend who makes incense and perfumes reports that she occasionally dreams of a unique smell, which, on waking, she can then analyze and manufacture. The magical artist Austin Osman Spare wrote that he would sometimes awake to find himself standing in front of a finished picture, having drawn it in his sleep. I have done automatic drawing as well. I was totally asleep, but ended up with a picture of a knight in armor. That would be my homework for you guys. Would be now I wasn't sleeping a lot, so I could fall asleep sitting up. So maybe it won't be homework because that's a lot of stress on the mind and body. Basically, I was on a school bus and I was drawing all the time, and I fell asleep while drawing. And I drew a knight in shining armor. Very sinister looking fellow. Very sinister looking fellow. I must have been 16 or 17 at the time. But drawing while you're in a trance is also pretty profound. Like, let's say you're super... let us say that you are at a workshop or a seminar and someone is giving this super boring lecture and you are trying to take notes, but they are rambling. And so you start to draw in the margins, you start to doodle. Now, that state of mind that you are in when you are doodling in your margins during a boring lecture, that is gnosis. That is the trance that I'm talking about. That confident, attentive, what's the third? Confident and attentive and relaxed. That's the mindset that's ideal. And that's the mindset that we want to like make the most benefit of. Especially in my younger days, I made really powerful sigils by... I don't think I knew what I was doing at the time, but I charge as I draw. I did when I was young. I do it even now. I charge my sigils as I draw them. And that way I don't have to like do the hyperventilating or the, suffocation, or I don't have to do the orgasm thing or anything like that, or I don't have to fire it. It's already charged. And then let's say I drew it on the inside of my wrist, or I drew it on the bottom of my foot. Basically, I have charged it as I've drawn it. And then basically, as I walk throughout the day, or as I take my bath or my shower later in the day, the sigil is firing off. So like as it fades, as the day goes on, it's a extended ritual. You've been here for a while, but stuck on the phone with auto insurance company. That's gross. I'm sorry. Are you on hold right now? Are you on hold? Okay. Now I'm going to state the obvious, and he's stating the obvious as well. Keep a dream diary. My Book of Mirrors is my dream diary. Also my vision diary. The first step to exploring dream magic is to keep a record of your dreams, which should be, if possible, updated as soon as you awake. So keep it next to the bed with, like if you have a glass of water that you prepare before you go to bed. I don't know. Oh, finally finished. Okay. Well, welcome, my friend. It's good to see you. We're talking about trance today. And now we're bridging the gap we went from trance to liminal perception to dreaming, dynamic dreaming, or lucid dreaming. And now we're getting into dreams, like actual sleeping dreams. Over time, Keeping a record of your dream enhances your ability to recall them in greater and greater detail. I disagree. It is also invaluable for checking out the degree of confluence between dream imagery and waking experience. Keeping a dream diary will also enable you to identify recurrent symbols, form the basis for willed exploration of astral zones, recurrent symbols, images, and situations, which appear in your dreams and can form the basis for willed exploration of astral zones or magic done while you are awake based on dream imagery. Basic dream control. It is remarkably easy to make the content of the dreams conform to expectation. People who are undergoing Freudian analysis tend to have Freudian dreams, while people who are undergoing Jungian psychotherapy will tend to experience Jungian dreams. Excuse me. You might choose to begin experimenting with dream control by setting a theme for your dreams, such as a particular subject, location, or person. There are several different approaches to intentionally guiding dream content. Firstly, prior to sleep, perform a relaxation exercise and clearly formulate the statement of intent with regard to your dream experience. I try to do this. You're supposed to do this while you're in hypnagogia. But firstly, prior to sleep, perform a relaxation exercise and clearly formulate the statement of intent with regard to your dream experience. For example, it is my will to dream of my father. Once this is done, you can allow your mind to wander until you fall asleep. Alternatively, you could try visualizing a scene or image as you fall asleep. This need not be a strong visualization, just the subject of your attention as you fall asleep. Now, I have not been able to guide my dreams yet. I cannot guide them before I fall asleep. I cannot guide them as I'm asleep. All I can do is treat it as though it were real and react as such, which usually means, I'm confident and I'm relaxed and everything like that, right? But I've never been able to control my lucid dreams. The few times I've tried controlling my dreams, I either had an I'm so lucky I didn't void out of my holes nightmares, or failed to dream at all. Yeah, I know what you mean. I definitely know what you mean. Dream telepathy. The possibility of transmission of telepathic information into dreams has been the subject of a good deal of psychological research, usually in the form that a sender attempts to project some kind of information to a dreamer. However, it can happen that you will have a dream about someone in particular situation which they do experience. Of course, the only way that you can find out whether or not a dream has had telepathic content is to check with the persons concerned and find out if your dream has any meaning for them. Another possibility is to establish a telepathic link between yourself and another person by using smell. If two people use a particular fragrance or perfume, such as that the scent evokes the image or memory of the other person, then this can be used to create a dream link. If the scent is the other If the scent is possible, no, hold on. If the scent is inhaled prior to sleep, while relaxed and formulating an image of the other person and a statement of intent for the dream, then it is possible that the other person can experience that smell in their dream and be more receptive to telepathic experience. Where I have used this technique in a series of experiments where a partner and I found that we could awaken each other during a prearranged hour by using scent as a telepathic signal booster. That's interesting. Shared dreams. A shared dream is an event wherein two or more people experience the same dream or elements of a similar dream. Alternatively, you might dream about yourself and another person in a dream and find out later they too dreamed about you with them, perhaps in a different context. I should probably get a hold of my friend Elise. I just dreamt of her the other day. Oh my gosh, Kitty. Again, the only way to validate this is to inform the people concerned. Attempts to orchestrate group shared dreams can be an interesting exercise, perhaps using a semi-structured path working to provide the basic setting which participants could later attempt to dream themselves to. Actually, that's a thought. That'd be fun. I have had friends with dream sharing skills and talents intentionally visit my dreams. Given the nature of my dreams, they politely indicated they would not be rushing back, invited or not. Ooh. I suspect I would have a similar situation. My dreams are quite stressful. They've been fucking with my sleep a little bit. We will talk about dreaming the future and lucid dreams tomorrow or Wednesday. I always forget Tuesdays occupado. So, the gateway experience 1.6. Yes. I'm going to share this. Ooh. The first 2 episodes were deleted. That's really interesting. Oh. He's deleting some of the later videos. I wonder if he got a do not. Oh no. No. He was posting up to like level 5. I'm still in level 1, but he was posting up to level 5 and now he's deleting them all. Let me share this playlist while it still exists. This is the gateway process. If you have trouble meditating, if you have trouble getting into that liminal space, this can teach you. It was a 1981 CIA experiment with astral projection. So what it does is it gets you in that liminal space and kind of lets you play. So I've had very powerful visions during this. Happy St. David's Day. Happy and hello, Heather. I'm just wrapping up. And so that's your homework, is to, you might have to go looking for the first episode, which is really interesting. I'm really disappointed. I came in just at the time to where I could see that he was putting up level 5 stuff, and now he's deleting the level 5 stuff from his account. Dithquil Dewey. Hapus. Okay, if you liked this video at any point, please hit the like button. If you would like to talk about lucid dreaming, then please hit subscribe, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.